So the first question I have is actually for Michael. As the director, this is the second time you filmed this movie, right?
Yes.
And the first time you filmed it was?
Probably 2017.
A couple years ago.
A couple years ago.
So what's it like filming it a second time with improved sets and improved costumes, having the same actors in some spots and recasted roles in other spots? What's it like as a director to see it played twice differently?
It was very interesting to see the way we just put more time into it. The second time, where this is the first time we had toys laying around and stuff, just not very professional. It was just me and the two boys at the time, most of the time, and so that was pretty interesting. It was also interesting to see the roles that I'd written for other actors have different actors act as that, so that was actually also very interesting.
So was there any memorable scenes or days that you'd like to share with us?
I would say that the scene that I remember doing the most, even though I wasn't actually in the scene, was when Gladius is betrayed and his servant guy is leading the soldiers to the house of Gladius. And I remember that I was recording and how we actually did it so that we were following the soldiers, backing up, and then we turned and we showed Declan, who was Marcus. And I just thought that was like really good cinematic clip that we were able to do.
Yeah, right.
I was glad to be a part of that.
Yeah. How about you, Becket?
Mine most memorable was when we were filming the very first scene, and all the little kids were just kind of going everywhere and making a lot of noise. So Mary sent them out to play in the shed with dress-up clothes, and Patrick was for sure that mom would not be happy with her playing with dress-up clothes in the shed. And then in the end, I don't think mom figured out they were playing with dress-up clothes. It's just funny that Patrick refused to act because they were playing with dress-up clothes in the shed.
Becky, is there anything in your character that struck you as interesting?
He was a sorcerer, so that was the most interesting. Like, what else is interesting besides sorcerers? So that's sorcerer.
How about you, Faustina?
I thought it was interesting that she was actually kind of like the only Christian that was one of the characters, and there wasn't very much to build her character off of since she has so few lines, but it was interesting to try to think up a story about her and try to really become her, even though there wasn't very much to base it off of.
Something that might actually surprise our audience is that Becket, you did not like your role of playing Cyprian. So what was it that you didn't like about him, and what made you decide to just kind of push through even though you weren't enjoying yourself very much?
I didn't like him because his like role, the beginning half, is like so strange. Like he's a sorcerer, and he has to go find this lady for this dude, and it just all doesn't really jive with the way I would do things. So I didn't really want to do them that way, and then I just powered through because I was like, this is what I do, so there's nothing else to do. No one wants me to do it, everyone wants me to do it, so I just do it.
So you mostly did like the awkwardness of his.
It was very awkward, yeah.
Did you like your role?
Yeah, she was interesting how, like I already said, there was really not very much to base her off of, so it was a pleasure to me to be able to try to create her and make her come alive, even though there wasn't very much of a story to go off of.
Do either one of you have any like funny stories you guys want to share from like the set or anything?
There was one scene when they were just kept getting inside the goat pen. It was just killing me to watch them get inside the goat pen because I was in charge of the goats, and I didn't want them in the goat pen, and they're chasing the goats in circles. And they're kind of new still, and mom didn't want us chasing them, but they're chasing them in circles, and it just drives me crazy.
And then they were making a ton of noise.
And then the goats were just making noise after noise after noise, so it was like quiet on set, everything was quiet, and then so that was one of the funnier stories.
My funny story is actually the execution scene. We were filming, and I was leaning over one straw bale that we were going to be, and it was going to appear as though my head was being chopped off, and there was a bale in front of me that the axe was actually falling on. And all of a sudden, I'm leaning over it, and I'm just like what if he accidentally hits the top of my head? Like, I'm sure it was enough of a distance, but when you can't see, it's hard to judge how far it is. And so then all of a sudden I'm like overthinking this hospital visit and how we're gonna explain what the heck we were doing. And I'm just like, this is so stupid, why are we doing this? So, and then the axe fell and I was fine. So that's why my execution wasn't very impressive, is because I was actually really way overthinking. I know Becket really jumped and made it look realistic, like his head was off, but I was just like, oh, don't hit me! So.
And for the rest of our audience, if you're interested in continuing to learn more about the story, you can go to our YouTube channel and watch our trailer. And then we're going to be having a blooper reel pretty soon released, so make sure you subscribe. Thanks. Bye.